With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Approaching the end of an era here at the Precision Racing League. It is time for the final round of the GTP, LMP2 and GT3 series here on RaceSpotTV. We're at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps to define our series champions for 2025 Season 1. And we appreciate you being along for the ride with us here. I'm Reese Gardner, Joey Tebbin alongside me in the commentary box, and Hugo Luis is the one behind the scenes making all these flashy images happen on your screen. Well, Joey, it's time. We're about to wrap this up, and it's looking like a very interesting title fight in GTP coming into this round.
One final multi-class prototype in GT race in the PRL, and it is going to be a very exciting one indeed. Technically, all three championships are up for grabs. For all intents and purposes, LMP2 and GT3 have been decided. Their championship leaders just need to finish the races to clinch their championships. But in the top class, in GTP, only 6 points separate first and second, and 6 points is the separation between maximum points in first and equal points in third. We have a very, very realistic possibility that either Wilson or Larson could win the championship today, depending on who's on top at the end of an hour.
Absolutely. There they are at the top of the GTP standings. It's still on between Rios, Wildman, and Ray for third place in the championship, and McGill and Finch only separated by 3 points. Darian Roy, Matt Benson, and Bradley Holly round out your GTP top 10 going into the last round. In the team standings, it's sheer dominance from Aerokinetics, Night Blind Racing, Valhalla Motorsports a distant second, but they look pretty comfortable in that position versus Eclipse Racing Esports by Skyline Design. Solpic Precision Racing at GTP certainly stands a chance of overcoming them for third place in this round if the stars align. Over in the LMP2 Drivers' Championship, it's basically in the hands of Alex Caruso at the moment. He has been far and away the most consistent and the fastest driver of this class, long way ahead of Alex Crow. But if there's a bad race on his hands, could still happen. Basically, as Joey said, all he needs to do is finish to clinch that championship. Only 6 points between Lehman and Shreves for third, and 1 point separating Evan Henneman and Kevin Berkquist. Can Mr. Consistency Kevin get that fifth place in the title? Cabana and Long only separated by 1 point as well. Over in the LMP2 Teams Championship, Hyperion Racing LMP2, quite comfortable in first place, but not that far ahead of Crikey Esports. Could certainly be some changes there if something drastic happens out there today. Only 5 points separate Tachyon and Majors Esport LMP2, and Majors Esport is basically in the hands of Alex Crow, who we know is capable of winning in this league. And that is how things are for the LMP2 class. Over in GT3, it is all in the hands of Derek Heiberger in the Hyperion Acura. Luke Wallace, his teammate, trailing him by 41 points. And there's only 2 points between Thomas Dunn and Jim Feliz as well for third. It looks like third place is really up for grabs in all of our classes here today. Ostrich 10 points ahead of Maturo, 10 points ahead of Brennan. Unfortunately, looks like, just seen in the broadcast chat, Matthew Maturo won't be able to make it tonight. It's a shame, Matthew, but you put on some great drives over the course of the season, and congratulations on becoming a father. Fantastic stuff there. As we go over to the GT3 team standings, it is sheer dominance from Hyperion Racing GT3. Blue Chip is second place in the championship, and once again they look very comfortable versus Valhalla, and it looks like it's a little bit closer down the standings between SRT Orange and Solpec Precision Racing, but largely those team gaps are going to be very difficult to make up. Well, for one final time in the Precision Racing League from me, we have a chance to thank our sponsors here. Of course, Logitech G wheels and pedals are equipped with true force feedback to help you feel the road and own the race. Use code PRECISION at checkout on logitechg.com for 5 to 10% off your purchase. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminium profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code on checkout at advancedsimracing.com. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit raceboxsimracing.com and get a 5% discount there using the Precision5 coupon code. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Check them out at thebuttkicker.com. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. Check him out at moradness.com. Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, or simply worst moments from your hobby in up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim room. Check them out at mrhedge.co.uk. Also on Facebook and Instagram. Last but not least, get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on their socials to become a better driver. They're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Threads. Almost anywhere you'd care to look. Well, for us, Joey, it's time to look at qualifying. The drivers are out there in a 10-minute session. They get 4 laps to set their times for the grid. But I tell you what, Spa is quite a long circuit, so I don't think they're going to be getting all 4 of those laps in, especially if you're talking about GT3.
No, and you need to get out there as early as humanly possible. Cannot afford to lollygag whatsoever. Just so you can, maybe get 3 laps in there, 3 good laps in there. But the one benefit about ending the season at a track like Spa is all of these drivers, without a doubt, have extensive experience here in most likely the machinery they're driving in. More likely a GT3 car, but plenty of experience in prototypes to be had at Spa as well. This is a very popular track across every official series, across every league in iRacing, and it's basically an even playing field. Who can commit the hardest and who can execute when the time comes in qualifying.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, riding on board with Ian Cabana as he makes his way across the line there, 208.5, and currently 3 seconds off the LMP2 pole position set by Alex Caruso, but there's plenty of time to be gained around this circuit. Out of the La Source hairpin of lap 1 and then up through Eau Rouge and Radillon, flat out in all of the cars here today. And then you just got to make sure you get the best exit possible onto the Kemmel straight on your way up to Lacombe, which is going to be the one of the prime overtaking opportunities around this lap today.
One of the heaviest braking zones, if not the heaviest braking zone other than the bus stop, so very important to get yourself a good run out of La Source, down the Kemmel Straight, and right into there. Very important part of the track here, though. Down the hill into Bruxelles, very easy to lock up, go a little bit deep, open the door to the inside or the outside. We've seen many a last-second dive through there. Then down the hill, got to be very careful here. There's a little bit of gravel out there now on the exit of Speaker's Corner that you don't want to clip too much. poo on in a prototype like this with high downforce. Just throwing the car in, committing as high as possible. Cabana left a little bit on the table there, it looked like, but that's a very difficult corner to master. You need to be at the utmost limit of grip to master that. Then through Fanya or Piff Paff, whatever you want to call it, clip both of those curbs. Another place where you can carry a ton of speed on entry. Stavilo, almost like a mini Pouon, slightly acuter, but still a corner where you can carry lots of speed. Flat out through the Corp Paul Freire. Now you can breathe for a moment, down the curvy back straight, and then the heaviest braking zone of the track in the bus stop. One of the most important places, one of the easiest places if you're going to make a move today.
Yeah, absolutely. Flat out through Blanchimont. Lots of runoff area on the outside there, and then hard on the brakes, as hard as you can down to some of the slowest corners on the lap. And it's really easy to mess that chicane up. It's off camber on the way in, and you don't see what's happening on the way out. That's a big improvement there from Cabana, 207.7, and that brings him a little bit closer to Justin Barrera. Here we go. Graham Cam on board with Graham Wildman in the GTP. Graham currently having a pretty good qualifying run. 3rd place for the time being, and he will be able to get this lap in. You just got to be careful not to overrun those curbs. Spa, though, it was relaxed a little bit some years ago. Oh, there it is.
That's
still a track where it's very easy to get off tracks.
Yep, he was pushing. Got to give him credit, but that's likely going to be the end of his qualifying session. Still a good place for him to be in 3rd. You know, he'd love to play spoiler with the 2 leaders here, but he'd also love to finish 3rd in the championship. He's currently 9 points behind Miguel Rios. As we speak, Graham is 4th now, and Miguel Rios is 7th. That's not a 9-point gap, but with a little bit of trouble from Rios, a good start from Wildman, that could very easily expand into a 9-point gap, and Graham would love to finish 3rd instead of 4th this season.
Yeah, absolutely would. Austin McGill putting himself in 3rd place there in the Cadillac. And I tell you what, Cadillac versus Acura is probably going to be very balanced in GTP here. We've got the middle sector, which favors the downforce and the nimbleness of the Acura. Has the power and has the straight line speed advantage, however small it may be, and you have a couple of very long flat out sections around the lap to take advantage of that. Well, Graham is going to commit to the end of the lap here. It won't count for an improvement, but still a 158.0 around Spa is nothing to sneeze at in a GTP.
And Graham will still be in a decent position, starting on the outside into La Source. Not the best place you want to start, but he will have the opportunity to be in the draft of currently 3rd place Austin McGill into La Source. And actually, as I say that, there's been a change. Yeah. Miguel Rios has actually jumped Graham Wildman, so Wildman will start on the inside now, immediately diagonal from the guy who he's fighting for 3rd. So Graham might want to get a little bit aggressive on lap 1, try and get ahead of him early.
Absolutely. It's going to be an interesting fight. Heiberger, meanwhile, currently has provisional pole in GT3. On board with him coming out of the chicane, a 217.7 for him. That is an improvement. Very nice indeed. And it looks like a big improvement from Jeff Kaufhold just coming through there as well. He managed to grab himself 3rd place. Nice to see. But Luke Wallace here, teammate to Derek Heiberger at Hyperion, 2nd in the championship in GT3. Has a good chance of putting himself on the front row. He's traditionally been able to be there with his teammate. Most rounds this season, it's been a front row lockout from Hyperion. And this is going to be Wallace's last chance as the clock hits 0 in just a few seconds. A 218.7 there for Wallace. Was an improvement, but couldn't quite get it done. He will start in 9th for this final race of the PRL GTP, LMP2, and GT3 series. Well, we are in the warm-up, final warm-up of the PRL sports car era. For the time being, at least, of course, if you're not aware, the Precision Racing League is going on a bit of a hiatus coming out of this season. The administrators taking some time here to attend to their personal lives. Well, for the time being, we can have a final chat here to our LMP2 pole sitter, Alex Caruso. And tell you what, Alex, if there's any track that's suited to the LMP2, it's this one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a ton of fun around this track. I'm always loving it here, and had some fun. Got to set up my own setup this time around, so I've really enjoyed it this week.
Yeah, flat out up the top of the hill and finding your way down the straight. Obviously, I mentioned during qualifying that this track has a couple of flat out long straight sections, but the middle sector, a lot of fast corners, and so traffic will be a problem for all of our classes. I think there's going to be a lot of speed differential, especially coming through Pool.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have to be very careful just with the slower traffic and the faster traffic too. You never really know how it's going to go around here. But again, hopefully everybody is well behaved for this final round, and I'll be looking forward to sharing the track with everybody.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be, I think, a little bit of a somber occasion because, of course, there won't be another season of this for quite some time. But obviously, I'm sure you're happy with your performance this season. You've been far and away the most consistent driver up the top of the field, and I guess try to cap off that championship with another win.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Thank you guys very much.
Well, Alex Caruso there, going to continue his preparations here as we go through the end of the lap with him. I tell you what, Joey, I really love seeing Alex Caruso perform like he does. Like I said, you know, just the picture of consistency and speed, and he's not afraid to get his elbows out when he needs to.
No, we've seen so many battles this season between him and Alex Crow. We've had Justin Barrera in the mix a couple times as well. Caleb Lehman was in the mix last time out at Portimao. These LMP2s have put on an incredible show, which wasn't always the case when they were with us in previous seasons. It's been very competitive this season. What's not been competitive this season is qualifying in GT3. Derek Heiberger, for the 8th time in 9 races, you're going to start on pole. So I guess the real question is, what happened in that one race that you let Luke beat you?
I'm not good at Road America. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
There you go. Evidently you're good at Spa, though. You did make it number 8. How did it feel this time out?
It's a little sketchy. We have a little guest appearance from one of our PRL stewards in here, and he's very quick. So that was a little fun surprise going into today. But I made it happen. It was good.
You do have to be careful, though, because we've figured out that you've essentially clinched the championship, but you do still have to finish the race to clinch it officially. And now suddenly you've got Arnaud Genet in the race. The possibility is a little bit less likely now.
I don't know. I think Arnaud will race pretty clean, but I'm going to give him as much of a fight as I can.
We like to make fun of him, though. As the lead driver steward, you got to make fun of the guy who's the lead driver steward and, you know, pretend he's the guy wrecking people.
Well, I'm going to race him like he's going to follow the rule book to the letter, so I'll take whatever liberty I can.
Good choice. I think you do have the higher ground there. We've ridden through half the lap so far. You know, you said it was pretty sketchy. It looks pretty clean so far, but as we come into the final sector, through some of the tighter corners, through Fania, through the bus stop at the end of the lap, does the car feel better through high speed and low speed? A little bit worse in either one?
Kind of a mixed bag depending on the corner. I tried to keep it under the limit because the instant you overstep the rear right now in these conditions, you just lose like a 10th or 2 on every exit. So it looks pretty clean, but it's just because I was under driving the rear end the entire time.
There you go. You gotta do what you gotta do. I worry for the rest of the field then. If you're under driving this lap, you still put it on pole by about 2/10. That means you might have a little bit more in the tank come race time.
Yeah, there's probably another 2/10 in there, to be honest.
Ooh, get scared. Get scared, rest of the field. That's nearly half a second. Coming into the bus stop here, the end of your lap. How late? You think you braked late enough there? You think you can extend it even further?
I can go deeper. I did some spa practice this week in officials and went around the outside there. I think I got it.
Derek Heiberger is going deeper. He's going later. He's going more aggressive. And at the end of an hour, he'll probably be a champion. So Derek, congrats on pole, and we'll see you on the grid in a couple minutes.
Sounds good.
Derek Heiberger there, pole position in GT3, but let's go through the starting grid for GTP first. Our championship protagonists, Brandon Wilson and Timothy Larson, are on your front row once again. Austin McGill and Miguel Rios share row 2. Graham Wildman starts in the top 5 alongside Matt Benson. Casey O'Brien and Joseph Blommel on row 4. The top 10 rounded out by Nathan Ray and Darian Roy. Jeff Evans is going to start 11th place alongside the pink Ferrari of Stephen Finch in 12th. And Aaron Beaver not setting a qualifying time. He will take to the grid in that blue chip racing Porsche 963. Alex Caruso and Alex Crow. It's an Alex C lockout of the front row one final time. Ryan Long and Doug Sorrentino are going to be keeping Alex Caruso very close company. Their teammate there up the front. Caleb Lehman and Kevin Berquist are 5th and 6th. Justin Barrera, race winner this season at Long Beach, going to start alongside Ian Cabana on the 4th row. Evan Henneman, Matt Brewer and Kurt Goodson going to start in our final places there. Derek Heiberger starts on pole in GT3. Arnaud Genet, the head driver steward at the PRL, going to start on the front row alongside him. Jeff Kaufhold, he won at Road America. Jim Felice is going to start alongside him on row 2. Peter Muller and Matthew Wyckoff are 5th and 6th. Moving on to Thomas Dunn in the Blue Chip Racing GT3. Got Joey Costello alongside him with Luke Wallace and Adam Ostrich rounding out the top 10. Devin Young is back in the McLaren for this round, going to start alongside David Schmidt. Then we have Robert McGeehan, Willie Brennan and Thomas Baker rounding out our 15-car field in GT3. And look at that, we are already away on our formation lap. Coming up to Stavelot here in the GTP class. Looking at the track temperature here, Joey, it's looking nice and cool out there. 18-degree air temperature, 22-degree track temperature. That is, of course, in Celsius. The Fahrenheit numbers are right there on the screen. And it's looking pretty cloudy.
Exactly the kind of temperature you want. There's a little bit of sunlight out there right now. There was a little bit less. It was looking very, very gray in qualifying. No chance of rain, as far as we know, but it's gonna be an interesting fight up front. Wilson does have the upper hand right now. Out-qualified Larson. Larson needs to beat him to win the championship, and I'd say he needs to get ahead on lap 1. He needs to get Wilson on the back foot immediately. Get him under pressure, get him a little bit worried, because if he's riding in second until that pit cycle rolls around, it's going to become even tougher to get Wilson out of the lead, and even tougher to dump him down to 3rd or 4th where he needs to be for Larson to steal this.
It's going to be tough in the GTP class as they round their way up to the chicane behind the pace car. And well, then it's all down to when you get on the power for the green flag. It's going to be interesting here, especially for the drivers in the midfield trying to respond to when the leaders go. Larson versus Wilson on the front row. Wilson is already away, and that's exactly what Larson didn't want. He's already down to 3rd before they even cross the line to begin the race. Graham Wildman versus Miguel Rios for 4th place. Wildman's going to get up the inside at La Source and put Rios back into 5th place. The LMP2s are getting started here on the right side of your screen. Caruso versus Crow up the front there, and already we've got a spin. It looks like Caleb Lehman and Kevin Berquist getting sent to the back.
Bad luck already for Caleb Lehman after the heartbreak of last week. He's going to be driving forward as a spin in 3rd in LMP2. That's Doug Sorrentino going around. Lucky not to hit his teammate Ryan Long. They take the green flag in GT3 as well. Looks totally clean around there. And poor old Caleb Lehman, the frustration of spinning at the bus stop. He spins again in turn 1. It's not the way Caleb Lehman wanted to start his last PRL race for the moment.
Certainly not. Adam Ostrich. Oh my goodness, oh yeah, Austin McGill trying to go for the lead here, and he spins and almost takes Timothy Larson with him. That's incredible. What a getaway there from the number 12. But for the 99 of Austin McGill, it is 0 to 0. He's back to the last spot there. And now Larson's under threat from Wildman as Matt Benson is making moves there in the Cadillac. One Valhalla car down, but we still got one in contention for the podium.
Chaos in the middle of the field in GTP. Rios is getting all sorts of out of trouble through Fania. Nathan Ray at the back of this train is just trying to survive. But Austin McGill looked like a hero for a moment. Sent it around the outside of Brandon Wilson. Looked like he might take the lead. And just got a little bit too over-aggressive. Lost the rear. And Timothy Larson exceptionally lucky to get away with that as well. He was still in second. He was still in a negative position for his championship chances, but if he got taken out on lap 1, that would have just been a punch in the face. At least the chance is still somewhat alive. He's just got a second and a half to make up already.
Yeah, indeed. So we were talking about the points situation before we went live, Joey. Basically, if Larson wants to get the championship from Wilson, he has to win and get the fastest lap. And also, Brandon Wilson has to finish third or lower. That will take it to a tie, and it seems like Wilson might still win on count back to third places. That's how close they'll be. So basically, Brandon Wilson has to finish fourth or lower, and Larson has to have a pretty much perfect race in order to get that done. Meanwhile, looks like Alex Crow's managed to get the LMP2 lead from Alex Caruso.
Indeed he has. It's going to be a very tough journey for him to win the championship. Needs Caruso to crash out in the next 27 minutes if he wants a shot at it, but he really just wants another shot at glory. Alex Crow's only won 1 time this season. Alex Caruso has won 6 times. Justin Barrera, the other winner this season in LMP2. Even if Crow doesn't win the championship, that would be a big accomplishment for him to get one final win. He'd be very happy with that. And I don't think anybody is very happy with that trouble on lap 1 in GT3. Adam Ostrich, I think that's Joey Costello in the Acura as well. That's after the green flag, but before the start-finish line. That's lap -1.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that happen and I thought, what on earth went on there? Caleb Lehman also having big trouble off the final corner, getting ready to start the races. The GT3s were getting going behind him. Poor Adam Ostrich going to the pits instantly. He was crabbing all the way along. And Doug Sorrentino, it looks like the might have been a compression lock there on the downshift that sent him around. Maybe a little bit of help from his teammate. Hard to tell from that angle. For Caleb Lehman, well, he managed to get going, but immediately spun out of turn 1 as well and fell behind the GT3s. He is still out there, but on the back foot. Austin McGill once again trying to fight for the lead there, coming into Bruxelles. And it just looks like he was a bit squeezed there. Yeah, he got the curb for sure, over the sausage, and very unstable on cold tires in the GTPs.
So much drama, and the drama wasn't over. We didn't see this originally. Caleb Lehman. Oh no! Another spin for Caleb. He's getting frustrated. He's trying to bring this race back into his own hands and just pushing a little bit too hard. We saw this in the background a couple of moments ago. Darian Roy. So easy to do. That's the lowest speed corner on the track, and these cars have so much horsepower that you do still need to be a little bit delicate on the throttle. The throttle control or the traction control doesn't help you entirely that much, as Graham Wildman learns in the exit of Lake Calm. You still do need to be delicate on the throttle. These things are very easy to spin, and he does it again.
Oh no, it's all gone wrong for Graham Wildman. Looks like he was fighting side by side with Matt Benson, but caught the curb on the inside there. And once again, that unsettled the car enough that, well, he did well to keep it out of the wall, but regardless, not an ideal going on there for Graham Wildman. Meanwhile, Jeff Evans, I mean, he's found himself a couple of free spots, hasn't he? Up into the top 9, and so is Aaron Beaver there in the Chill Guy emblazoned blue chip Porsche. Stephen Finch up 5 spots. He has the most positions gained in GTP.
Surviving lap 1 has been extremely important. And Stephen hasn't just survived lap 1. He's actually still holding on to the end of this little draft train here. You know, a couple of good corners. If he can get a good exit out of La Source, he might have a shot here at sticking with Nathan Ray and maybe going for a move. As we ride on board here, there's some great straight line speed in this Stephen Finch mobile. He might actually have a shot into the bus stop here before we even get to the next best overtaking opportunity. Around the outside through there's very difficult, and Ray does chop him off. But Stephen Finch in that Ferrari looks very, very fast in a straight line. I'm worried if I'm Nathan Ray right now.
Yeah, the Ferrari 499P is one of the best of the GTP/hypercar class in a straight line. Gets that hybrid kicking in above 190 kilometers per hour. And so at the end of the straight here at Lacombe, Finch is going to be absolutely flying. Has to keep it behind through Eau Rouge and Radion first. Very unstable over the curbs still, but both get the run they need. And now it's the slipstream for Stephen Finch. Speaking of Ferrari, Ferraris. Miguel Rios has just passed Matt Benson for third up the road at this very spot here. Finch trying on Nathan Ray, but couldn't get it done. Well, there's a Ferrari that's gotten past a Cadillac.
Yeah, I think Finch was a little bit too eager there, a little bit too impatient. He was essentially interlocking his front end with the rear end of Nathan Ray. They were like two Lego bricks, and he lost the front end totally through the second part of Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and lost all of his momentum down the Kemmel Straight. He needed to kind of hang back a little bit there. Think NASCAR style. Think about building a run, and he might have had a shot into Lake Com, but got a little bit too impatient there. He'll remember that next time around, though, and try to time it better this time around.
Indeed. Well, now Matt Benson has an Acura in his mirrors. It's Casey O'Brien, who's, I think, having one of the best races of his season here in the final round. 5th place, looking to gain a bit more as they go through the dust generated by, would have been maybe Larson or Wilson as they came through. Still a fair ways away from lapping the GT3s as, oh, look at this here. Matt Brewer trying to find his way past Doug Sorrentino. Sorrentino making a good recovery. He's back to 5th place. He can show really brilliant speed when he's on it, but unfortunately his race didn't quite get off to the start that he wanted.
No, I'm glad to see Matt Brewer back as well. Not necessarily happy to see another identically painted Hyperion LMP2. It makes it even more confusing to differentiate him, but Matt has kind of been on a half season this season, missed a couple of rounds, but the rounds he has been here, he's been very fast, and it's more of the same here. Qualified in the top 10, running in the top 6, narrowly out of the top 5. Good to see him, and there goes a Hyperion McLaren into the wall. Wyckoff, and I think that was Luke Wallace. It was involved.
Oh no, that's terrible for both Wallace and Wyckoff. Big damage for the Ferrari and for the McLaren. We'll keep an eye on Devin Young for the meantime. He's trying to get into the top 5 to get past the blue chip Porsche of Thomas Dunn there. It's been a good race for both of these two. They've kept it clean. They've survived the chaos. But here's what happened between Wyckoff and Wallace side by side through Le Com, and it looked like a clean battle, maybe with a bit of contact. But then, unfortunately, Wyckoff couldn't recover, and a little bit of contact as well on the exit of Malmedy too. Looked very messy.
Wrecking again on the recovery is not ideal. And that was also Devin Young, who we saw in the middle of that. Very lucky to get away with no front end damage there. His front bumper did indeed come back. Just a little bit of a scare from him as two McLarens tried to kill each other in front of him. It's all resolved for the moment. This isn't resolved though. That's especially not resolved. Damaged GT3 car out in the gravel. That's going to check up. Matt Benson, actually. Casey O'Brien nearly slams into the side of Wyckoff's McLaren. It was looking like he was going to have a great shot into the bus stop, but checking up for Wyckoff there has killed any chance of that happening right now.
Yeah, certainly has. Well, they're really in it now when it comes to lapping in the GTP class. This is a chance for Casey O'Brien to find his way past Matt Benson, and it's allowed Stephen Finch and Nathan Ray to catch right up as well.
Stephen Finch is scaring me. He gets so close to the rear end of the cars in front of him. It's actually going to work out for him. Yeesh. That was especially a moving chicane as they got by the Precision Racing Acura there. Finch had a run, but he essentially had to check up to let KC come through there and not wreck the entire field. They're going to get by Robert McGeehan now, but this is very, very dicey stuff as they reach GT3 traffic for the first time, and that was a very frustrated, I think Nathan Ray ended up behind Robert McGeehan coming up Eau Rouge and Raidillon and lost a ton of time.
Yeah, it's one of the worst places to come up on traffic, the corner where you have to be precise on your line and go flat out. Bit of gravel up here at Le Com. It looks like someone caught the inside of the gravel trap there. Well, all of this has really benefited Miguel Rios. He's now 1.5 seconds clear of Casey O'Brien, and it's now a quartet fighting for 4th place.
This is very exciting stuff. If only this was the battle for the lead. The battle for the lead separated out a little bit. Wilson has been very good through traffic. He's pulled 3.5 seconds over Larson. But this is exciting stuff, and it's not over as through Pouan. These are the fastest guys in GT3. These are going to get even tougher. And there goes Finch around the outside of Dunn. Ends up on the bumps in the asphalt runoff there, and you cannot run flat out through there.
Absolutely not. You go anywhere beyond that curb on the exit of Pouon and it absolutely sends you sky high. Such a difficult situation too. You know, you got to make that split-second decision, and unfortunately, that's going to be him done in terms of that battle for position, but I think he hasn't suffered all that much damage, which is good to see. Well, meanwhile, LMP2 lead. Alex Crow still leads from Alex Caruso. Been a good run from the Majors Esports 990, and well, we'll see Alex defending here from his fellow Alex. It was a big attempt here from Caruso. Try and get around the outside at Lacombe. You can certainly get it done, but well defended from Crow.
Didn't work out that time, but he's going to get so many more chances at this. They're essentially equal on pace, so if Caruso can just stick with them at essentially this margin, stay about 3/10, 2/10 back coming onto the 2 long straights, he's going to have many, many more opportunities to try and take this lead and force Crow into a mistake. He needs to stay close to him, though. Can't afford to lose too much more ground. Nathan Ray's going to try and make a move here for 5th, but there are lots and lots of obstacles. Arnaud Genet's going to be a big obstacle, but he's still going to get to the inside. He's not going to be able to outbrake Mr. McGill there, though, and they're going to get by the final bit of GT3 traffic now. Mr. Benson, rather.
Yes, indeed. Well, around they go, and that's your GT3 lead battle right there. It actually looks like it's very competitive in GT3 at the moment. Heiberger from Genet, Felice and Kaufhold right there as well.
Yeah, Arnaud making his one start of the season in that very familiar purple and highlighter yellow livery that we're so used to seeing him in. Not used to seeing him in a Ferrari necessarily, but it's nice. It's nice to see the top 4 separated by a blanket there, and I think we're going to have to throw a blanket over LMP2 again. Caruso and Crow are side by side again, and I believe Caruso's actually made it work this time. He's going to have to defend for his life, though, because Crow's coming back.
What a place to make the pass as well at the bottom of the hill at Eau Rouge. He managed to get it done, but the slipstream is there for Alex Crow, and the door is left open to the inside. Oh, hard on the brakes, little bit of contact. They get through it. Excellent battling between our LMP2 leaders, but I tell you what, Alex Crow flashed in the headlights. I don't think he's too happy with that dive.
Well, he should be unhappy with himself. It's rare you see the door left wide open like that. That was surprising. You don't see that happen often. Thought Crow would have been forced around the outside there, but there was asphalt to the inside. He was given the opportunity. He was later on the brakes, and he made it work. He was a little bit aggressive with the clearing of Caruso through the middle of the corner, but he outbraked him, and he made the move work. That was incredible.
Indeed, but I've got some very bad news if you're backing Timothy Larson for the championship. He has a mechanical black flag. He's currently in the pits getting that repaired, and I'm going back to see where he got that mechanical black flag. I can't see it.
Did he miss a shift or something? Did he blow the gearbox?
I don't know. It looks strange. I mean, there's downshift protection on those GTPs, so I don't think that's the issue. Maybe it was a tap with passing a GT3, potentially when he got past Thomas Dunn on his 6th lap, but I'm honestly not sure. I think, yeah, maybe Hugo's found it here.
Oh, it turned in too early in turn 1.
That is so easy to do. Like, La Source, very tight corner. You got to try and carry as much speed as you can through it for the run up the hill there, but it's so easy to turn in just that instant too early and bounce off the inside wall. That's what's given him the mechanical black flag. That's heartbreaking.
So unfortunate. The championship was already I wouldn't say a lost cause, but it was looking unlikely. Wilson looked to be in dominant shape, but Larson still would have wanted to finish the season on the podium at least, so it's going to be very heartbreaking for him, but he'll at least be able to ride on a very good season. Got a couple of wins, fought for the championship, didn't end great, but still a great season as a whole.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we will say goodbye to Timothy Larson for the time being. Hopefully he's able to get repairs done and get back out on the racetrack to at least see the checkered flag. There is potential for that. We keep an eye on the battle for 7th in LMP2 here. Evan Henneman leading Kevin Bergquist and Ian Cabana, and it's been par for the course for Kevin Bergquist. He says that he just gets out there and drives around, and it has netted him some great results thus far this season. He's keeping it clean clean, unlike Ian Cabana behind him.
I do have to give both of these drivers credit, though. We've seen them for years now in the PRL and in everything there is to offer. They're in LMP2 cars this season. We've seen them in MX5s. We've seen both of these guys in all sorts of open wheel cars. Kevin Bergquist and Ian Cabana, two of the biggest pillars of the PRL. They're always racing something. Going to be a shame not to be seeing them multiple times a week, but I think everybody's very thankful they've had both of these guys to race against.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of history in the Precision Racing League. It started even, before moving to iRacing. They started on Xbox, which is pretty incredible stuff. So, it just goes to show how much effort and how much time has gone into building this community over the many years it's been around. And of course, it's not the end of the PRL full stop. They're just taking a break, is what the admins are saying, but still, I think it's going to leave a gaping hole in the schedules of many of us, both sim racers and commentators alike. Great battles still happening here in LMP2. Good exit there from Bergquist. Is it going to be enough for him to find his way past Evan Henneman? Bit of blinking there for Henneman, defending into La Source. Nice wide turn in for Bergquist. He carries some good speed on the way out, but it's not going to be enough to get by into Eau Rouge. Will still be able to pick up the slipstream down the Kemmel Straight. While we're looking at this, got a message concerning Graham Wildman, who unfortunately spent over 2 minutes in pit lane. Turns out he was unable to swap battery modes in the hybrid GTP and ran out of juice. So, bit of a technical problem there for Graham Wildman.
Technical problem indeed. I don't know if that was the reason for the spin. I think that might have still been his own fault, but yeah, it's unfortunate to kick a guy while he's down, run out of battery power as well. And speaking of kicking, there's a knee, there's a whole foot thrown by Justin Barrera. He's not letting Matt Brewer get by him. He's going to try and make this work around the outside. Very nice from Brewer to leave a door to the outside there. And Barrera can't decide where to go. Brewer can't figure out where to defend.
Oh, wow. That's some great racing between these two here. And I've just been informed that note about Graham Wildman's battery was a joke. Apparently, he has entirely himself to blame for his loss of time eventually in the pits. Oh, well. We'll see if Wildman will be able to get ahead of those LMP2s and maybe gain a few more positions if the other GTPs have problems. Well, regardless, it looks like for the time being, Ryan Long is free of Doug Sorrentino, and Matt Brewer here is free of Justin Barrera. It's still on between our leaders in LMP2 and also between actually, that's
Ferrari
Stephen
battle.
Finch there. Yeah, okay. I thought we were looking at Miguel Rios for a second there, but that's actually his teammate, Joseph Blommel, who's defending from Stephen Finch for 6th.
Yeah, good recovery from Joseph Blommel. Spun on lap 1, and or spun very early, rather, and he's already coming back to, or he's already come back to P6. The power of surviving. You can see just about everybody behind him has run into some form of trouble or spun in exactly the same place. Now he's got to be defensive. We know Finch has been very, very aggressive. We know he's got a very low downforce setup on that thing. Is he going to be able to outbrake Blommel into the bus stop? He was able to outbrake him, but you need to be fully alongside with how tight the corner is to really stay alongside through the extent of it, and Finch was not quite so lucky that time. Blommel's not running away from him, though. Finch is fast. He should be ahead of him on pace. It's just a question of how defensive can Blommel be? How long can he hold him back for?
Yeah, that is the question. Certainly not afraid to get the elbows out, either of these guys. Did you see how close they were through the final chicane? Almost banging wheels there. I think there was only maybe a couple of centimeters in between the cars. Well, here comes the Kemmel Straight, and this is where Stephen Finch can really take advantage. The door is open to the inside, and he finds his way past Blommel before they even get to the braking zone. A little bit of moving around in the mirrors there for Blommel, trying to unsettle Finch a little. That's really all you can do in a situation like that. Or wait for a bit of traffic. LMP2 here of Caleb Lehman that they're trying to find their way past now. Looks like Finch won't be able to get it done here at the downhill right-hander, one of my favorite corners on this circuit, and into the middle sector. This is where Finch could potentially be vulnerable.
He should be able to clear Lehman here. Blommel's not so lucky. Finch was able to clear him in time into Pouon. Blommel was not so lucky. Lehman does eventually have to give way. But yeah, that's what happens sometimes in traffic. The guy in front of you gets very lucky, and you get very unhappy. This could be interesting. Cabana and Bergquist, the two teammates going at it, as Evan Henneman's been able to hold both of them back. Cabana's actually been able to get ahead of his teammate, and now we'll see if he can issue a challenge to Henneman. No, he cannot. He immediately goes wide and brings his teammate back into there. This is not exactly what the Crikey Esports teammates wanted, and I think Cabana agrees. He backs out of it there, so he's not fighting with his teammate, but now neither of these guys have been able to get by Henneman.
Yeah, well, at the very least, they're still out there and still circulating, which is definitely what gets you points in this series. Remember, Crikey Esports is second in the LMP2 Teams Championship, which just goes to show consistency is key.
Consistency, especially in a championship like this, where you've got 3 classes on track, you've got an even more heightened possibility of getting into trouble and wrecking early, wrecking in the middle of the day. Just being able to keep yourself on track, finishing these races consistently, it's been especially important here. And again, that's something that Kevin Bergquist has always excelled at, whether it's been in this or an open wheel car, which especially you need to be careful in. He's been a great driver at keeping all 4 corners on his vehicle at the end of the day.
And we'll see if he'll be able to do the same here at Spa, as not only do they have to try and pass GT3s, they're getting passed by GTPs. That's the battle for second in our top class on screen in the middle of all of this. Miguel Rios and Casey O'Brien. And Casey was trailing behind Miguel for quite a bit, but that little bit of traffic has brought him right back into the fight.
Ooh, Bergquist is going to be the middle of the sandwich here. He's got a lot of downforce, so he's able to hold his own through that left and right, but eventually can't hold back Casey O'Brien for that much longer. He's going to be immensely frustrating to Matt Benson there, who was not able to get by in the same speed as his 2 rivals. And now Justin Barrera has caught Matt Brewer once again. So we had a little bit of a pause in the battling in LMP2, a little bit of stratification, and now that's over as the leaders are going at it again.
Oh, looked like Alex Caruso going for the outside, then inside into the chicane. Just got the position off Alex Crow before the start-finish line there. Well, here's an opportunity. Caruso, well, he'll be able to get some clear air ahead of him, but Crow has the slipstream, and it looks like he's carrying a bit more momentum up the hill as well. Let's see what they do at the end of the straight here, coming into Lacombe. Heavy braking zone. Caruso has been passed by Crow at this corner before, and in quite a spectacular fashion, moving around in the mirrors, trying to unsettle him. Alex Crow knows how to fight, and this is going to be a big fight indeed if they keep this going.
Crow is a little bit too far back that time, couldn't quite get a nose to the inside to sneak a move there, but yeah, that battle's not over. Crow will catch Caruso again. They will continue that on. It's just going to be a little bit of a calm moment for a couple of minutes until they get to the next long straight. These guys were able to make it through the majority of the traffic straightforwardly. Rio still ahead of Casey O'Brien, but they've got one more tougher bit of traffic coming up here. Barrera and Brewer, 2 very fast LMP2s, and they're going to reach them in the part of the track where the LMP2s are equal on pace to the GTPs, or even a little bit faster in some cases. This is going to be very frustrating for Miguel Rios. He's got to dispatch these guys quick.
Yeah, Pouon no less. Very difficult corner to find your way past traffic in, but commit to the inside into Funya. You might be able to get it done. No, not far up enough to get the move on. So Casey O'Brien and Matt Benson see a couple of free kicks heading their way here as the LMP2s have to find their way past a GT3 as well. It's the blue chip Porsche there. Oh my goodness, Thomas Dunn having a very tough time there. He's got a bit of damage on his front right, but fortunately he is free of all of this mess for the time being as he fades into the background. Still running all right, 6th place in GT3, and Thomas Dunn, Devin Young, sorry, is now the next GT3 to find himself swamped by prototypes coming into the final chicane. Pit stop call here from Casey O'Brien. This is very interesting. Yeah, I like it too.
Minimizing his losses, got boxed in there behind the GT3, wasn't able to make the move on Rios into the bus stop that he wanted to make, so he says, you know what, I'm going to minimize my losses here, I'm going to get myself out of traffic, and I'm going to make my stop maybe a couple of laps earlier than I intended to, but still essentially in the halfway range of the race. See if it works out for him. It's impossible to tell whether you're going to be in less traffic or more traffic after a pit cycle at this stage of the race, but I think he's going to find himself at least a little bit of clean track until he catches this same pack again like the leader Brandon Wilson is.
Oh, Wilson slithering up the inside of Alex Crow there, second in LMP2. Now the meat in the LMP2 lead sandwich for a couple of moments. We've had a raft of pit stops coming in over the last couple of moments. Evan Henneman pitting from LMP2. We've had Graham Wildman now try to find his way into the LMP2 pack. Oh, this is interesting here. Brandon Wilson now going up the inside of Alex Caruso, and that brings Crow right back into it again. Looks like Crow's quite fast in that middle sector, but we saw also not just Casey O'Brien come into the pits, but a lap earlier Nathan Ray took his pit stop as well, and it's quite a quick pit stop, 22.2 seconds. Casey O'Brien 30-second stop, so I get the feeling Casey's going to be losing out on that podium battle. Oh, there's a GT3 upside down. No, it's an LMP2. It's Matt Brewer.
That's not good.
Oh, okay. So he's escaped back to the pits, but something horrendous has just happened to Matt Brewer there. Remember, he was battling with Justin Barrera, trying to get round the outside of Jeff Kaufhold here, and they make contact on the exit of Pouon, and that puts Kaufhold out of the running, and Matt Brewer on his roof.
A little bit of an argument there between two classes. Kaufhold, I don't think necessarily did anything wrong. He was running his line. Brewer just took a very, very risky opportunity going around the outside there and didn't leave a ton of room to the inside. Put himself pretty highly at risk there. That's unfortunate. Not the way he wanted to end his part-time season either. That's 3 DNFs out of 6 races, but he was fast, and at least he went out spectacularly.
Yeah, the problem with that incident is, like, on the exit of Pouon, the GT3s need to use all of the track. It's such a fast corner, and the GT3s are way more grip limited than the prototypes. So they can't just change their line on a whim when a prototype's trying to get around the outside of them. They have to lift off, at least. Kaufhold, I think, well within his rights to keep the throttle pinned. He was ahead on the way into the corner. He was ahead at the middle. But unfortunately, just seems, again, a split-second decision being made, and ultimately wasn't really the right one.
A little bit of separation now that these guys are out of traffic. Crow did a very good job of kind of shadowing Brandon Wilson when he was coming through. Caruso wasn't quite so lucky and then lost more time as he was getting lapped by Wilson. But now that they're equal on track, they've got no traffic around them, and it's just a battle of pace. Caruso's been faster, and Crow pushing a little bit too hard there through Stavolo, throws it off the road and loses even more time trying to keep up.
Indeed. Well, still close enough to potentially do something different on the pit cycle and get past that way. The LMP2s, just like all of our classes today, have to take a pit stop. And the LMP2s have the smallest fuel tank of all. They are not quite able to make it more than about 45 minutes at most. And at a track like Spa, where you got the foot to the floor a lot of the way around, I think the stint's going to be even shorter for these guys. We've just ticked over half an hour. We have halfway to go in this final race of 2025 Season 1 in the GTP, LMP2 and GT3 series at the Precision Racing League. And it is still on for this LMP2 lead.
Miguel Rios coming through now. You can see the gap between him and Brandon Wilson, 14 seconds. Wilson's just been absolutely on another level, but Rios has been on another level sort of in and of himself. He's been on another level compared to the rest of the field. Brandon Wilson sort of in a category of his own, then Rios in a category of his own, and then the rest of the GTP field fighting amongst themselves. It'll be a good second place for Rios again. He's really kind of turned it up a little bit at the end of this season. Was always a podium contender, but last week Actually ended up beating Brandon Wilson on pace. And now this week, out-surviving Timothy Larson, and looks to have a pretty comfortable second in the books. It'll be a good end to his championship as well.
Yeah, it's been a great season from Miguel there in the number 77. Well, more pit stops have gone on. Jeff Evans pitting with a 21-second pit stop in GTP, and it looks like Darian Roy around about the same, coming out in 9th place. We've also had Timothy Larson and Aaron Beaver make it back out of the pit lane. Larson spent 7 minutes in there, Aaron Beaver nearly 10 minutes, both getting repairs done. And I went to look at my end at Beaver's incident. It was a coming together with a GT3, unfortunately, and that took him out of contention for the time being, but we still have the majority of our GTP class running. Only one we have really lost is Austin McGill in the 99.
There's so much dirt being kicked up on the exit of Stapelo. Everybody's playing with every inch they've been given. Sometimes they go a little bit too far over, but still gotta take every bait you can get. Derek Heiberger done a very good job of finally extending himself away from the rest of the GT3 field. It was looking very close early on with him and Genet and Feliz and even Jeff Kaufhold, but since that sort of initial 15 minutes of the race, he's broken the draft of Genet. Both of them have driven away from Jim Feliz by about 3 seconds. Heiberger is doing exactly the same great job he's done all season, and he has officially won the championship, by the way. It's past 30 minutes now. It's impossible for him to be classified as a DNF and score 0 points, so give him the trophy. He's clinched it.
Yeah, maybe he'll be able to stretch his hand out as he comes by the pits and just, snatch it and continue on to a potential race win here. Well, Heiberger sets the pace for sure. 2:18.5 is his fastest lap. Arnaud Genet, meanwhile, he's actually run 0.3 faster on his fastest lap. So Heiberger has something else to try and fight for. Try and get the fastest lap, maybe get an extra point out of that and really drive it home.
I do worry, though, as entertaining as that would be, I remember what Derek Heiberger said in the interview. He said he was backing things down a little bit. He wasn't pushing it 100%. So I don't know. Will he give us a little bit of spectacularness and start throwing this car around to get the fastest lap, or is he just kind of cruising right now? I think it might be the more boring answer, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, if I was in Derek's position, I'd be cruising too. You've got the lead, you've got a huge gap over, not huge, but it's reasonable, it's defendable, and you just need to keep the pace going. Well, regardless, battle for LMP2 starting to heat up again, but seems like Alex Crowe struggled a little bit there out of the final corner, wasn't quite able to get the speed he wanted and maybe breaking traction a bit. Matt Brewer himself in the broadcast chat says, "I'm alive, don't worry, bit of whiplash, but we're good." Well, good to hear, Matt. Sorry to see your race and your season ended in that fashion. We'll see if your teammate will be able to hold off the might of Alex Crowe here. We've had a couple of comments saying, oh, maybe Crowe won't be able to catch Caruso, but all it takes is a GT3 in the wrong place and it's back on.
And what do we see at the front of our screen right there? It's a GT3 in the wrong place. It's Mr. Tom Baker, the doctor, has reappeared. He's reincarnated at the front of our screen, and poor old Alex Caruso is about to catch him through the place where it's going to be nearly impossible to pass a GT3 car. This is exactly what Crowe wanted. Caruso struggling a little bit, does get by, but he did a pretty good job of things, all things considered. Got to give him credit. Didn't lose much time there, but could have been much worse, and that's not going to be the last bit of traffic.
Certainly not. Certainly seeing that the LMP2s are indomitable through that particular section of track. For now, the gap remains about maybe a second or so between our LMP2 leaders. And we should also see, potentially popping into the back of the frame shortly, Graham Wildman making his recovery in his GTP from that long stay in the pits of about 2 minutes. He's found his way past third place Ryan Long in LMP2 and will soon be overtaking these two drivers for overall positions. Meanwhile, from second place in GTP, Miguel Rios comes into the lane. His teammate Joseph Blommel has already found his way in. It looks like Matt Benson and Stephen Finch are going to continue on a little bit longer, and Brandon Wilson at this point is just running his own race, so I don't think it matters too much when the 444 decides to pit. Alex Caruso comes into the lane as well from the LMP2 lead, so this is going to be a big statement here. How will Alex Crow respond to this?
Split strategy in LMP2. Crow essentially had to do it because that gap had extended to about a second. He'd lost the draft of Caruso, so needed to do something different. As here comes Stephen Finch to the inside of Matt Benson for what is currently second, what will become third once these guys both pit. Great move from Finch, and to get a podium for him, that would be a great way to end the season. But on the topic of Crow, I'm looking for him on my map here. The 990 doesn't appear to be in any traffic at the moment, so it's just going to be a case of how fast can he push on this lap, how short can that pit stop be. It's going to be a battle in pit lane. It's not going to be a battle of Crow making it through traffic for the LMP2 lead.
Well, if you're interested in the numbers, 20.8 seconds on my timing for Alex Caruso in the box, and from entry to exit, about 41 seconds through the pit lane. Those are the numbers that Alex Crow will have to beat as the fight continues between Stephen Finch and Matt Benson. Still a great run from Stephen Finch, has to be said, but will they respond to the rest of their GTP compatriots and make their way in? There's been moves up the front in GT3 to the pits. It looks like Derek Heiberger having completed his stop. Arnaud Genet currently stopped in the box himself. Heiberger will take the effective lead back. Jim Feliz has stayed out in GT3 and he currently leads. Thomas Dunn and Devin Young also in the pits as well. Willie Brennan's going to join them, and it looks like that leaves Feliz as the only GT3 yet to take a stop.
Get yourself some broadcast time, Jim Feliz. Get yourself some credit. Feliz family, take your screenshots. He's in the lead. Heiberger will overthrow him once Feliz makes his stop, but still good to get a little bit of time in P1. See that one in your relative box one more time for the season. And who knows, maybe Heiberger runs into some trouble with a little bit of traffic. Didn't happen that time. Was very nice with Ian Cabana. And Arnaud Genet is still about 2 seconds behind him, but, you know, it's the end of the season. Anything could happen.
Certainly could. We're coming up on 20 minutes to go, and we've just seen Stephen Finch take his pit stop. It looks like he has managed to beat KC O'Brien in that fight there. 21.6 seconds on the stop for Stephen Finch. That's one of the fastest stops we've seen all day in GTP. So keep an eye out for that. Still got Brandon Wilson and Matt Benson owing his pit stops in our top class. And for now, it looks like LMP2 is the one with the most drivers yet to come into the lane. We still haven't seen Crow, Long, Sorrentino, or Barrera in the lane. Caleb Lehman as well, despite his issues on the first lap, escaping too much damage and just powering on. There goes Brandon Wilson into the pit lane for his final pit stop of the season, and Jim Feliz in just ahead of him there.
Brandon should be pretty straightforwardly in the lead. Might have as high as a 30-second lead over Miguel Rios at the end of this, but it's been a great season for Brandon. Started very, very well, won the first 2 races in a row. Then things started to move in Larson's favor a little bit. Larson started to fight back. He started to be able to win races on pace again. Had that dominant win at Long Beach that really turned things in his direction, but Wilson's had more wins this season, been more consistent, and in a race where it mattered, he was able to survive more than Larson was. So it's going to be a very deserving championship for Brandon Wilson as long as he's able to stay on track for the next 19 minutes. And there you can see he's already coming out of the pits, already in the lead. Matt Benson from second, making his stop as well. He might be in the fight for the podium.
It may well be. Here comes Alex Crowe into the lane. Ryan Long's going to follow him in. We'll see if Doug Sorrentino and Justin Barrera make their way in too. Now remember, 20.8, around 21 seconds, was the stop length for Alex Caruso. So we'll see if Alex Crowe will be able to get that done. Stephen Finch, meanwhile, sees Matt Benson emerge out of the pit lane just ahead of him. Well, we'll see if Finch will be able to still fight for that position in the top four. We've seen that Ferrari is very slippery in a straight line. Should be very short work catching up, but passing is another matter entirely. Oh, looks like Alex Caruso will take the LMP2 lead back from Alex Crowe, but it's closer than we think. Actually came out of the pits ahead of him, but more momentum there for the 89. The lead is back for Caruso, but crucially, the gap has been shortened.
And they're going to be equal on momentum coming up through Radion now. Crowe has got the speed back. I don't think he's going to be close enough to actually go for a move into Lake Calm. They're going to have a little bit of a disturbance with Jeff Evans coming through. He'll be clear of Caruso. Caruso's a little bit earlier on the brakes than normal that time, though, with the GTP distracting him. Crowe needs to stick with Caruso now. He can't afford to let that gap expand to a full second again. He's let it expand to a half second already. That's not what he needs to happen.
Caleb Lehman becoming the second last of our drivers to take a pit stop. We're still owed one from Adam Ostrich, potentially. No, actually, Ostrich would have already gone into the pits for damage when the first lap began. So it looks like that's going to be Caleb Lehman, the final driver in this league to take a pit stop. That's some technical problems there for Matt Benson. Not feeling Stephen Finch with any confidence. He's braking on the racing line of the chicane, not knowing where the Cadillac's going to pop out.
Gone again, he's back again, he's gone again, he's back again. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's not where you want him to end up. I think Finch needs to just turn in here, take the position away next time he blinks away. Didn't work for him that time, but yeah, now he's got the inside. I think he's going to be in pretty good shape here as Benson doesn't have a run, doesn't have the momentum, and he will lift coming into Eau Rouge and Radion. Finch will have the momentum. He'll try and run away. Yeah, Benson not in a very good position right now, and neither of these guys in the position they wanted to be. They wanted to be fighting for the podium, but Nathan Ray at the head of your screen, he's actually been able to jump both of these guys, and he's looking like he's pretty likely for a podium.
Yeah, looks like some good luck with traffic there for Nathan Ray. Well, Matt Benson doing the safe thing and the smart thing, in my opinion, and letting Stephen Finch go there. The battle was on, but if he'd continued to fight while blinking, it could have ended in disaster for the both of them. So just focusing on self-preservation for the time being. They will continue on here to fight for fourth place, maybe third if there's problems ahead for Miguel Rios or Nathan Ray. Keep an eye on Matt Benson here to see if he can stick in the slipstream. They've got to keep an eye out for Casey O'Brien. It's not that far back to the number 28 Acura, and they make their way past Jim Felice coming into Stavelot. All about the exit from here. Looks like the technical problems have abated for now for Matt Benson. We'll see if he'll be able to start a bit of a fight back here, as the fastest lap has just been set there by Brandon Wilson. And what a fastest lap it is, 158.7. That is mighty quick on race pace.
That is the only lap all day in the 158. So very well done, Brandon Wilson. Very, very fast. And something very, very unfortunate for the driver who you can now see showing up in Matt Benson's mirror at the top of your screen, Casey O'Brien. Remember his early pit stop when he came out of traffic and ended up putting probably 8 seconds too much of fuel in the car? The gap from where Casey O'Brien is right now in 6th to Nathan Ray in 3rd is about 6 seconds. It's actually about 4 seconds. So Casey O'Brien very well could have been on the podium without that pit stop error. It's not totally over, but he's got to be flying here. He's got to make 2 moves on Benson and Finch, and then there's going to be about 3 seconds up to Nathan Ray.
Yeah, it's never over until the checkered flag flies. It's the attitude that you have to take. But yeah, sometimes mistakes like that, you know, it just makes it harder for you to achieve your goals.
And there's not 3 seconds up to Nathan Ray now. That gap has disappeared, and he's stuck behind Robert McGeehan now. The fight for the podium's back on.
Certainly is. Stephen Finch could be getting a 3rd place here in the final round of the season. Well, flashing lights for Matt Benson. He's going to find his way past McGeehan nicely. Still, you know, I've said this every couple of rounds. Shout out to Robert McGeehan for sticking it out there in the Ford Mustang, which has not been the fastest GT3 car this season. It's awesome to see him out there, keeping it safe, keeping it consistent. He doesn't always finish well, but he certainly reps that Mustang nicely. Well, regardless, good exit for Nathan Ray. Maybe putting his wheels a little bit on the curb, as does Stephen Finch, but these two plus Matt Benson, we've got a proper fight for the podium on our hands.
Indeed we do, and a much faster car in a straight line for Stephen Finch. It's going to be his greatest advantage. Is he going to be as good on the brakes as Nathan Ray's Cadillac, though? Looked about equal that time. Finch was pretty late in the brakes, though. I think this is going to be a battle for 3rd, and if these two start to hold each other up, and in turn, they start to hold Matt Benson up a little bit behind them, I will not be counting Casey O'Brien out for 3rd, as there's a huge lockup for Finch into turn 1. Got, again, too close to the rear end of another car. Had to lock up the brakes to not take him out. 3rd place isn't over, but that's the gap that Finch had to Ray about 3 minutes ago, and he's lost it all.
Yeah, got to be careful. I mean, I admire the confidence from Stephen Finch getting as close as he does to other cars, but sometimes it can hurt you in races like this, and we just saw that happen. Well, Nathan Ray onto the podium and keeping his position nicely. Matt Benson now standing a chance of getting back past Stephen Finch. This is going to be a very interesting battle here in the middle sector. Both of these cars seem to be running lower downforce setups, and so they struggle a little bit here in the middle sector. Who has the best setup for corners like Pouhon and Fagnes?
You can hear it's just the littlest lift for these GTP cars. A lift and a downshift for Matt Benson. Wasn't quite as quick through there as Finch. Both of these guys are going to have a little bit of a gift. I think that's Arnaud Genet as Benson disappears again. It's not Arnaud Genet, it's one of the Precision Racing Esports Porsches. I think that's Adam Ostrich, and it's going to be very much not a gift for Matt Benson. Finch was able to get by very, very easily, and Benson has lost all of that ground now. He's got to look in the rearview mirror at Casey O'Brien, who's going to be peeking in his rearview mirror again now.
Could still be a top 5 for O'Brien. We'll have to wait and see how that works out for him. Still got 11 minutes remaining in this race. And for our GTP leader, that translates to about 5 laps once he crosses the line next. So keep an eye out for Stephen Finch here, catching up again to Nathan Ray.
Is Ray short on fuel? Because he actually pitted before Casey O'Brien did. And his pit stop is the same length as the people who pitted about 12 laps later than him. Has he underfueled this car? Is this how Finch has been able to make up all this time so quickly?
Yeah, there's potential there.
And Finch is going to blow by him here in a straight line.
Oh, he is. Yeah, Nathan Ray evidently losing a lot of pace here. I'm going to ride on board with Ray here and see if we can...
Didn't lift a ton there into Lake Calm.
No.
He's sticking with them, but he's just slow. That's the problem.
Yeah, indeed. So, yeah, not taking the upshift into 5th. He's certainly still taking great advantage down the straights, but a little bit unclear as to whether he needs to start fuel saving here. He was the earliest of all our GTPs to come into the lane, so it's not an ideal situation for Nathan. He might be trying to manage something here towards the end. If he can stick in the slipstream of Finch, then that'll certainly help him to get that momentum.
And Finch has finished on the podium this season. He finished 3rd at Road America, but a 2nd podium for him in that not the most popular car in the field, Ferrari, joining Miguel Rios in a 2 out of 3 Ferrari podium. Be a great way to end the season for Steven Finch. And he's going to try his hardest to run away from Nathan Ray here. He's done a good job so far. He's going to extend that gap in a straight line through Blanchimont. Essentially a straight line flat out. And I think he's he's going to be lucky. That was very close with Mr. Dunn. He did clear him before the braking zone, but I think he expected Dunn to go one way, and Finch had to go the other.
Oh my God, man, I love seeing that. I mean, obviously, I don't love seeing it result in a crash, but, you know, corners like that as Casey O'Brien has now passed Matt Benson there and into the top 5. Nicely done. He's on a bit of a roll, actually, as Casey took 0.8 of a second out of Nathan Ray on the last lap, so it could still be on here in a 4-way battle for third, but Matt Benson's going to have to keep his eyes peeled here for a move. Yeah, multiple corners like this, GT3s just blending across the track, and if you're a GTP coming up on them in the wrong place, it's like, what line do I take? You got to make a decision and stick to it. And the decision for Casey O'Brien is to fight Matt Benson for that position, and he wins the battle for now. It is still on between Finch and Ray here, though. It is 2-by-2, battle for third and battle for fifth.
And
I'm loving this.
Casey needs these guys to fight. He's faster than both of them. He could be on the podium here. He needs Ray to catch Finch, though, and slow him down just a little bit to get rid of that probably 30 car length gap, probably a 2-second gap there. I don't know if Ray has the sauce to do it. He might need a little bit of help from these two LMP2s coming up. They've got Justin Barrera coming up very, very soon, and Evan Henneman too.
Yeah, indeed they have. Looks like it might be on for a position for Caleb Lehman and Evan Henneman there. They're actually quite close together. They're within a second of each other. So this could be a deciding factor in this battle. A little bit of extra slipstream off the GTPs there for Lehman. Then side by side into Blanchimont there for Nathan Ray. He makes it through on Evan Henneman, but only just. And then, oh, surprise, another GT3. I think that might be Willie Brennan there in the Porsche for Hyperion. He definitely gives the line to the prototypes there. Under 7 minutes to go, and we still don't know who's going to be finishing on the podium here in GTP.
And Casey O'Brien did not get a good run there, did not get lucky at all. He's actually going to get rammed out of the way by Evan Henneman, and Caleb Lehman in the SRT LMP2 squeezes into the inside there. Casey got stuck behind two LMP2s and a GT3 car, locks it up and gets shoved out of the way by an LMP2. He needed all the luck in the world to get through traffic cleanly there, and he got absolutely none of it and actually lost a spot to Matt Benson in the process.
Yeah, ton of time gone there for Casey O'Brien, in excess of maybe 1.5 seconds that he lost there in just one corner. Well, that's multi-class racing. You got to roll with those punches and find your way to the end one way or another. Still, can't take anything away from Casey O'Brien's pace at the moment. In spite of the traffic, still setting times competitive with Finch, Ray, and Benson ahead.
Only 5 minutes to go, 3 laps to go, and it's still nothing's decided for the podium. The LMP2 win isn't even decided yet. They're still only separated by half a second over there.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. Alex Caruso versus Alex Crow continuing on, as looks like this is Ian Cabana that our 5th place battle is finding its way past. Stephen Finch having a good lap in 3rd in GTP and getting ahead of Nathan Ray. Or getting further ahead of Nathan Ray, I should say. But yeah, looks like this battle between Benson and O'Brien is the only battle in GTP, and other than the LMP2 lead battle, only real fight on the track at the moment. And I mean, what a poetic way to cap off this season. Alex Crow and Alex Caruso have raced each other harder than I've seen many drivers fight over the course of a season, and for LMP2 victory, they are together here at the final round of the season. It's looking like it's going to be a grandstand finish in our 2nd class here today. Far from a grandstand finish for Brandon Wilson. It's sheer domination for the 444 up the very front of this field, 25 seconds ahead of Miguel Rios. And I mean, that's just his season in a nutshell. Once he's gotten in front, he has rarely been flappable.
Yeah, the only The only somewhat mediocre races he's had this season were Long Beach, when Larson was able to pull 40 seconds on him, and last week at Algarve when he finished third and kind of opened up this championship in the first place. But he clearly took that week since that last race to practice at Spa, to maximize his consistency and figure out how to drive this place as fast as possible. And he's been absolutely untouchable all day. Was untouchable in qualifying, untouchable on lap 1, and here's Crow and Caruso together as Adam Ostrich wrecks in the background. They're running into each other, getting around Jeff Evans, and there goes Crow spinning. That's going to be the end of that battle.
Oh, it's such a shame. Crow was going for the move, but unfortunately, the GT3 there of Peter Moller was on the inside coming into the chicane. I think that's Ostrich there behind them that had a massive problem through Blanchimont. Still not having a great time there, just lost the rear end. And then Moller on the inside here. Crow was making the move, but he saw he had to get around the GT3, so he got into the side of Alex Caruso. And I think Caruso was like, mate, I got to turn in for this corner, otherwise I'm not making it.
Yeah, Caruso had no intention to lift there or to turn left to let them both make it through. Crow put himself in that position, so if he was going to get turned there, he did unfortunately deserve it. But if you're Alex Crow, you got to go for a move like that. You don't want to get held up behind a GT3 car. You don't want to have to give up the battle entirely. He did everything he could, but I think he won't be too unhappy with getting turned around there. That is a reasonable thing to happen with the risk he was taking there.
Yeah, it's just a matter of the timing of the traffic working against you. That's something you got to keep in the back of your head the whole time when you're in a series like this. Which corner am I most likely to catch up to the next GT3? You know, what kind of lines am I going to have to take? And you got to be opportunistic at times. Well, battle's still on here between Casey O'Brien and Matt Benson round the outside of Lacombe. The Acura gets it done on the Cadillac, and Benson caught on the marbles there, couldn't quite get it turned in, so has to yield the position. Casey O'Brien is back into the top 5.
I think we might see Casey's best lap of the day here. He's got 1.5 laps to go to make up 3 seconds up to Nathan Ray to at least get 4th. He's got nothing to lose. He might as well push, might as well hope for a little bit of luck. And hope that a podium might be possible. We'll have to get around. That's Adam Ostrich missing a front end, shockingly still running on the track, but good to see Ostrich still going. You know, there's 2 laps left in the season, 2 laps left in his case in the PRL for the moment. He wants to get every lap he can, no matter how damaged that Porsche is.
Absolutely. Another fastest lap from Brandon Wilson, 157.8. He is absolutely flying out there in the 444 as he's just begun the final lap of the season. And, well, really the final lap of the GTP, LMP2 and GT3 series at the Precision Racing League, full stop for the time being. Less than a minute to go on the clock. See if Casey O'Brien will be able to defend that 5th place from Matt Benson. The battle has re-emerged between Kevin Bergquist and Caleb Lehman for 6th in LMP2. Lehman has the slipstream. Not much of a defense there from Bergquist. Once again, he's focusing on staying safe out there. Knows that Caleb Lehman will go for the move. Decides to yield, and potentially he could get that position back as it's white flag for these guys. White flag being taken as well already for Derek Heiberger in GT3. He's going to come away with yet another victory here to cap off his championship run. But around Pouon here, looks like it's going to be a slow victory lap here for Brandon Wilson. And you know what? I'd do the same in his position as well. Finish in style.
I don't know if Caruso likes the slow victory lap. He's kind of getting pushed back into Crow, but Brandon Wilson still just the ultimate style. Nothing more you can say. And on that last lap, when he set the fastest lap, that is a new PRL track record for GTPs at Spa. 157.82 beats a 157.98, the previous record. So Brandon Wilson going out in the ultimate style. Not only is he going to win the championship, he's the fastest guy ever in a prototype at Spa.
That is incredible stuff from Brandon Wilson, and what an incredible race to cap off the championship for the 444. Brandon Wilson is your GTP champion, and behind him, Alex Caruso crosses the line to win LMP2 and take the championship for Hyperion Racing in our second class. What an incredible fight it was with Alex Crow, and it's only a few corners to go for Derek Heiberger. What a season it has been from this number 98 Acura. He has nailed it almost every time. Apart from Road America, just an almost impeccable season for Derek Heiberger. Out of the final corner, run to the line, up through the gears. Our GT3 champion is crowned.
One of the best seasons we've ever seen in the PRL. 6 wins out of 9, 8 poles out of 9. Big stuff from Derek Heiberger. We've got a smoke festival. We've got a donut festival in turn 1. The majority of these drivers finishing up their final ever PRL start. There will still be one more official PRL race. The PRL IndyCar Series is coming up on Sunday. You'll see some of these drivers there, but for the vast majority of the field, it's their last time on track. Nathan Ray's going for a victory lap.
Of course he is, and have a look at the teammates there. Miguel Rios and Joseph Blommel sharing the track one final time in the PRL there, and doing it in style, bringing up a huge cloud of smoke on the way into La Source. Man, what an end to this era, you could say, of sports car racing in the Precision Racing League. Brandon Wilson, 24 seconds ahead of Miguel Rios and Stephen Finch, your podium in GTP for the final time. Nathan Ray and Casey O'Brien round out your top 5, with Matt Benson finishing in 6th. Joseph Blommel gets 7th place. Jeff Evans doing quite well there in 8th place, ahead of Darian Roy, the last finisher on the lead lap. Graham Wildman, what a recovery. He managed to find his way back past the LMP2s in the end. Unfortunately, we lost Timothy Larson from the championship battle. He did cross the line, as did Aaron Beaver, but both of them suffered huge damage, spent a lot of time in the pits. But I tell you what, I take my hat off to those guys for finishing. Austin McGill, our only retirement in GTP. Caruso and Crow, your top 2 in LMP2. Ryan Long makes it 2 Hyperion cars on the podium, with Doug Sorrentino making it 3 Hyperions in the top 4. Justin Barrera finishes 5th place. Brilliant drive from him. Caleb Lehman passing Kevin Bergquist very late on in the race to get 6th place. Behind them, Evan Henneman and Ian Cabana finished 10 seconds apart. Matt Brewer, unfortunately, retiring from the race in, frankly, spectacular fashion. Kurt Goodson did not take to the start, it seems, so we'll fall to our GT3 class. Derek Heiberger takes the championship. Arnaud Genet, our head steward at the PRL, will take 2nd place ahead of Jim Feliz. Brilliant podium there for all 3 of them. Devin Young making a massive run up through the GT3 field, up to 4th place. What a brilliant job from the number 15, getting in the McLaren one final time. Finishes ahead of the blue chip car of Thomas Dunn. Willie Brennan splits the blue chip cars there with Thomas Baker behind him. Peter Moller was involved in the LMP2 lead battle a bit there at the end. Finishes 8th place for Solpeck Precision Racing. Adam Ostrich, unfortunately, his race was over before it effectively began. He did cross the line though, and same for Robert McGeehan too, unfortunately. 8 laps down, but still made it. Jeff Kaupold retiring. There was a contact there with Matt Brewer. David Schmidt we lost very early on. Same for Matthew Wyckoff and Luke Wallace coming together through Malmedy. And Joey Costello didn't even make it to the start of the race either, making that contact there with Adam Ostrich on the run out of the formation lap. Well, it's time for some of the final chats we're going to have with these drivers in this context. We have to start with our newly crowned GTP champion. Brandon Wilson is with us. Put your hands together. What a season. Brandon, that final race was a bit hectic at the start, but from then on, couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah. First off, a couple people I want to thank. First and foremost, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Secondly, my wife, for allowing me to spend time practicing and committing to this, what she thinks is a game, but in all honesty is the closest form of real racing that a lot of people will ever get. I'd like to thank my team and my teammate Darian. Great season, back-to-back constructor championships, and this is my first time ever winning a solo championship in my life. So I was almost in tears a little bit coming across the line, and man, it was awesome going toe to toe with Timothy every week, knowing that I had to bring my A game to every single week. It was a lot of hard work, and I want to say thank you to the organizers of PRL as well. This is a top quality league, and I really, really hope to see it back in the future. And thank you guys as well.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. It's been a pleasure to chat with you every single week for the past 9 weeks. And to cap it off, as Joey pointed out earlier, with that fastest lap, you are now the GTP track record holder at Spa in the PRL as well. So congratulations. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Congratulations once again. And yeah, definitely hope that we will cross paths again in the future, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Brandon Wilson there, champion in GTP. In second place in the GTP class, it was Miguel Rios. Joey Tebben will have a chat with a brilliant second place.
Miguel, two second places to end the season. Went pretty well for that Ferrari at the end of the season. What changed? Just the tracks working better? You working better? How'd you finish the season so well?
I just kept being as consistent as I possibly can. The only day I wasn't consistent in practice was for this race at Spa, because I had just started a new job, and I've been focusing things like outside of sim racing. But it was very fortunate to grab P2. You know, I was very focused to like secure P3 in the standings, and my main rival, I believe, was Graham Wildman, and it was I was expecting to battle him out through the entire race, but it was very unfortunate that he spun as I saw it unfold in front of me, you know. But so far, yeah, race pace was pretty decent. I wish it could be quicker because I wanted to see if I can challenge Brendan again, but he was just, you know, oh so fast. And yeah, and pulled the strategy. Strategy worked out pretty well. Changed all 4 tires, and yeah, I'm very grateful to secure P3, first time on the podium in PRL.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah. Great season from you. Great season from that Ferrari, and hopefully we'll cross paths in the future, Miguel.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate you guys for what you did. I'm gonna miss you all.
Miguel Rios. We'll miss him too. Coming home in second in the race, coming home third in the championship, coming home third in the race. It was a double Ferrari podium. Stephen Finch is here with us with Reese, or not?
Yes, if I can drag him.
Let's try him again.
Yeah, I'll let you handle that one. There we go. Stephen is with us now. Well, goodness me, mate. What a drive from you. Qualifying not going entirely to plan for you, but it was a long and hard-fought race for you to get that podium here in the final round.
Yeah, that's to say the least. To start last, get up to 5th, spin, get back up to 5th, spin again. It was a race. I'm definitely sweaty, that's for sure.
Well, it's I guess it must feel very good to cap things off here, and you're running the PRL with a podium at the final round at one of the best tracks in the world. So, yeah, we send our congratulations to you as well.
Thank you. It was a good race, and I look forward to when PRL starts back up.
Absolutely, as do we. Stephen Finch there, podium in the GTP class. We can congratulate another champion officially here. Joey stood by with Alex Caruso in the LMP2.
Indeed, just as you guys have done all season, it was you and Alex Crow going at it all race long, but just like has happened in the majority of the races, you ended up on top. Talk us through one last battle and one last race win tonight.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. I'm exhausted after that. I think last week at Portimao, I said I would be up to go again right after that race. No chance of that happening here. Alex Crow put up a great fight. I mean, it's been fun to race against him all season. This one was certainly a little bit more aggressive than what I'm used to. But I get it. It's the last round. Gloves got to come off. So I was happy. We spent most of the race battling back and forth relatively cleanly. It sucks that was the incident that happened at the end there. That's kind of saw him spin and me take off after that. That wasn't really how I wanted to end it, but happy to take home the win and happy to just bring home the championship for Hyperion.
Yeah, and your first ever PRL championship. I'm sure the first of many championships, iRacing wide, if you haven't won any already. How does it feel being a champion?
It's great. I mean, PRL has been kind of it was the first real league that I got into as a sim racer, and it meant a lot to me back then. I remember the crazy amount of stress and anxiety I put myself through for that first race, and I think it was Road America, and I was in a Porsche GT3, and I'm pretty sure I spun in the carousel. So I'm happy to grab some redemption now and finish strong, and put down the performance that I know I'm capable of.
And if you want a meaningless stat, second ever PRL champion named Alex, after our old buddy Alex Fournier a couple of seasons ago. So congrats on being the second Alex, and hopefully we'll see you in the future.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Huge shout out to Hyperion Racing. Huge shout out to Sim Gaming Expo coming up in September. Hopefully I see some of you guys there. That'd be awesome. And thank you guys so much at RaceSpot for the broadcasts over the years, and thank you to PRL for putting on a great league. It's been truly special. I'll miss it. Hopefully some other leagues step up and fill the gap, but I don't think there'll be anything quite like PRL.
Alex Caruso, your champion of LMP2, and speaking of other people named Alex, wouldn't be an LMP2 race this season without talking to Alex Crow as well.
Absolutely. Well, you really took the fight to Mr. Caruso in those final laps, Alex, but still another second place on the cards here in the final race of the season, and you drove your heart out there today, that's for sure. Just talk us through that final race.
Yeah, I had a really great race. Got off to a good start there. Definitely had the pace today. There was definitely some moments where Caruso surprised me, sending it a couple times. And the last couple laps, and I'm pretty sure there's a rule specific to not using slower class cars as a pick, but we'll see. Otherwise, yeah, it was a really fun race, really fun season. Yeah, I wish I could do some more of these, but...
Well, there's certainly plenty of sim racing leagues out there, but as Alex Caruso said, none like the PRL. Regardless, certainly hope that we'll be able to cross paths with you again at some point, Alex, and congratulations on a brilliant season.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for commenting. You guys are great. Love watching the replays after.
Alex Crow in the Majors Esports LMP2, the 990. And finally in LMP2, Joey stood by with Ryan Long getting a podium in the last race.
Indeed, Ryan. A season that had so many Hyperion drivers, yet a very big team. You ended up on the podium in 2 of the last 4 races. Well done.
Yeah, I think it was 3 of the last...
3 of the last 4?
Yeah, I think I got
right.
Le Mans, Algarve. Yeah, I just didn't pop in for the interview last time, but yeah, I told you guys I'd be trying to push more for the podiums, and was happy I was able to do it. Didn't quite have the pace for the 2 Alexes up front, but I was feeling a little under the weather today, so having a nice, easy race, not having to battle anyone, just felt kind of nice.
There you go. Nice, easy race, nice, easy podium, and I'm sure we'll see you and that very, very wide team of Hyperion Blue showing up somewhere else in the future in iRacing.
Yeah, Hyperion, it's an awesome team. Love the guys so much. They help everyone with everything, and the practice they put in for all these races is amazing. And I can't thank them enough for letting me join the team, and it's just been awesome. And this league has been awesome, and I thank you guys also for putting on a great show. It's just been so much fun.
Ryan Long coming home 3rd in LMP2. We do have another Hyperion driver to talk to, going down into GT3, the champion of GT3 and the winner in GT3, all the same. Derek Heiberger's here.
He certainly is. Well, Derek, congratulations first off on the championship. Effectively had it wrapped going into the final round. All you had to do was finish, but finishing P1. Remember Joey chatting to you in qualifying. You said that you'd be underdriving it here, but still seemed like there was not much that could be done once things got going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, the track kept evolving throughout the race. So it was a little trickier than I thought it would be, but I don't know, I just kept my pace, kept my head. I almost turned myself on our nose bumper on the start. I don't know if you guys saw that, but after that, it was pretty uneventful. Just had to keep the pace up and make sure that he didn't get in draft range too much. And other than that, it wasn't too bad. Well,
End of the season, end of an era here at the PRL, and I guess as all drivers in this league are wondering, what's next?
I mean, I've got a couple leagues I'm committed to with the team. I'll see if I can find some solo stuff and everything. But this is actually my first solo league, and PRL is something I've watched a few seasons before, and it's awesome to be a part of it. So huge thank you to you guys for broadcasting. Huge thank you to everyone at PRL for putting this show on. It's been awesome to run. I mean, obviously I've had a great season. I've really just kind of looked inward. I built my own setups for most of these races and really just tried to use this to evolve myself as a driver, and it's been a great experience. So I don't know, I can't really ask for more.
Well, thank you so much for joining us all through the season here, Derek, and hold your head high. A brilliant season from you.
Yeah, this has been incredible. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone at Hyperion. We have a lot of team testing that goes on just to make sure we're all on pace and just exchange ideas. So it's always hugely beneficial for these things. And huge thank you to the Sim Gaming Expo as well. As Caruso said, I hope to see you guys there in September. If you're able to make it, it'll be a good time.
Certainly will. Derek Heiberger, our GT3 champion there, finishing in second place. Actually, it looks like Arnaud is not here, so it looks like we are going to go straight to Jim Feliz here, Joey, who finished third.
Indeed we will. It was a great second half of the season for you, Jim, and I can't do my math too quickly here, but you're either going to be second or third in the championship at the end of it all. Does that feel good?
Yeah, I think if I did my math right, I got third and third and pulled off third in the championship as well. So that was a great way to cap off another great season. And yeah, it was great to see that Arnaud was able to join us out there on track tonight. Just want to give him a big shout out for all the work he's put in running a great league. Kind of a bittersweet moment with the league going on hiatus, but yeah, it was good send off for him. And just want to thank all the people behind the scenes that helped put that on, and you guys for putting on a great show with the broadcast. Appreciate it.
And I believe I have good news for you. With Luke Wallace finishing 22 laps down, he didn't finish 50% of the laps, so I believe that'll be counted as a DNF. So I believe you might finish second. I'll wait for the numbers to be confirmed, but you might finish second. So congrats on a great season either way, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Joey.
Jim Feliz, an ever-present member of the PRL GT3 community. We'll get two quick chats with some drivers who had some bad luck today, but they've been around for a while. We might as well give them one more shout out. Graham Wildman, the most popular guy in PRL race spot chat history. You've competed in your last PRL race for now. There's a little bit of a negative, but what are the positives you're taking away after the last couple of years?
I've been in PRL for almost 2 years, and I've got to say this is one of the best communities I've been a part of. From the niceties of everybody supporting each other to the level of competition, it's just been a fantastic experience for me. And I appreciate you guys putting on such a great show.
I have a feeling we'll see you in the very near future, Graham. Congrats on a great season. I think it's going to be fourth for you in the championship. Pretty good time for your GTP run, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yep, thanks, guys. Not my strongest campaign, but it was definitely an interesting one, so I'll be seeing you.
It was a campaign that happened. Graham Wildman.
Certainly was.
Coming home at the end of the GTP season, and one more driver, the googliest eyed of them all, Mr. Caleb Lehman. Coming home just shy of 100 PRL starts, whether it's been in GT3, whether it's been in prototypes. You've been around forever, good sir. How does it feel to be the last one for now?
It's bittersweet. Hoped I could have had a better race this last one, but I think I finished third in the championship. So even though it was not a great season, I kind of weathered the storm and came home third. But definitely sad to see the league go, and I wanted to thank you guys for just putting on a great show every time we come out. It's been awesome.
And I think even if last week didn't end the way you wanted, that 4-wide move for the Algarve, that's got to be a highlight for the season in LMP2. So congrats on that, and
thank you guys.
I have a feeling I'll see you around soon.
Oh, for sure. Thanks again, guys. Have a good night.
Caleb Lehman coming home after yet another season in the PRL, and Reese, that's going to be it for prototype racing in the PRL for the moment. We do have to temper it a little bit. It's not goodbye forever. There are definitely intentions for a PRL to return in the future, but for now, in the state we're in right now, this is a hiatus. It is a goodbye, and it's unfortunate. Only one more race to go with IndyCar on Sunday.
Yeah, indeed. And Joey, you will be there to help call the action here on RaceSpotTV. For me, this is the final time that I, Reese Gardiner, am going to be in a PRL broadcast box for the foreseeable future. So I just want to say thank you to PRL as well, to RaceSpot as well, and to our friends at GSRC who broadcast PRL before we did, and to everyone in the chat, the organizers, the drivers. You all made this happen together, and I definitely credit PRL with helping me a lot in my personal and professional journeys as a sim racing commentator. So thanks very much, everybody, for watching. We'll see you one last time for the IndyCar series on Sunday. For now, it is goodbye to GTP, LMP2, and GT3. Have a wonderful day, everybody.